Good morning, Richard. How you doing today?
Beautiful day, as always, in this town that we live in.
Right? I don't know what's going on with June. It is sunny out. I will take the sun. It's a little chilly, isn't it?
Yeah, like this mix of like spring, fall weather all of a sudden. Do I wear a sweater? Do I not? I don't know.
Right? Like it's that in-between weather. Right? Right?
That's all right. Sun shines out. I'm okay with that. That's where I'm at.
And things are definitely heating up, which is a great segue to our next guest on the Open House podcast. Today we have the one, the only, Lori-Ann Clancy. Clants, as she's well known as. Or as I just mentioned, as she's in my phone, Clancerton.
Right.
Yes. Clants came to the area to teach originally. She's married to her high school sweetheart. She founded a musical theater company known as the Georgian Bay Musical Theater Company, GBMTC, 13 years ago. It survived COVID, and not only survived, but I would say is thriving in this community. They've got a upcoming production of Frozen happening at the Midland Cultural Centre. And forgive me, Clants, I can't remember the dates offhand. What are the dates for those?
No, it's all good. So July 15th to the 18th are evening shows starting at 7. And then from July 22nd to the 25th are evening shows. And we're also doing a matinee on the 25th, but I'm pretty sure it's sold out right now, or very near to being a sellout of.
Well, Frozen, like how could it not sell out, right?
No, I know for sure. Yeah, we started.
I want to pitch. If this video can get 100 likes, Ben will dress up as Olaf for the production.
Please do. I don't know. Our costume designer and our Olaf creator, supposed to be a puppet, but I just didn't really want to fill out puppet, so it's an amazing costume. It's pretty darn good. Nice. I can't wait to tell you about the amazing creative and production team we have for this show. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, Clants. And I'm just going to hit my
Ben. I very appreciate that. It's like
we found a soundboard, and it's right.
Nice.
Yeah, Clant. I mean, for all our guests that come on, I mean, like, we want to get into the stuff that's going on right now, but I think to give us some perspective, we like to go back to the very beginning. Now I'm talking the very beginning. Yeah. Like, where did you grow up?
Oh, great question. So I grew up in Oshawa, Ontario.
Okay, the Schwallywood.
There until I went to university, and where I went to Queen's for my undergrad and took phys ed or kinesiology and drama. And then I went to Western for Teachers College and got hired by the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board right out of Teachers College, or my Bachelor of Ed at Western. So started teaching up here in 1994 and just retired within the last 5 years. And I loved every single minute of my teaching career. It was phenomenal.
It's like, I started this and then I worked 30 years and then I retired.
Yeah.
Nothing happened in between.
I miss the kids so much, but it's it was just time that when I did retire, it was just for different reasons that I retired when I did, and I'm no regrets, but I just miss being with the kids. And if I could segue into that, one of the reasons why I started Georgian Bay Musical Theater Company, very selfish reason, is I wanted to work with my former students. And I thought, okay, how can I do that? And then when I recruited this amazing group of people to be on the board, some of them being some of my former students and others really great creators from the community, I'm like, this is great. I get to work with them on the board, and then I'll get to audition former students. And so that's kind of how that came about. The teaching career evolved into this, and I can still have the opportunity to work with people and be creative and with all ages. It's really awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think, Clance, shortly after we met, doing, I think it was the brewery production.
Yes.
You're fairly freshly retired at that point, and you were still coaching the girls' basketball team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, during my whole career, I coached either the senior or junior girls basketball team, or the boys too. I didn't coach the boys too often because the boys' season was always when I was directing musicals at the school. Mm-hmm. So, so what happened was I retired in 2021, kind of during COVID time. And then in 2023, my former colleague and friend Cullen Fay, he's the co-curricular head at the school. And I guess he was talking to my husband, who's also a teacher there, and he said, Rob, do you think Clants would be interested in coming back and coaching? I can't find someone to coach the senior girls. And Rob said, sure, she will. So he came home. It was the week before school started. He goes, oh, I saw Cullen, and Cullen said, do you think Clants would be interested? And I said, you would. So I went, oh, okay, great. And anyway, it ended up going really well because my goal, my whole coaching career when I was at St. Teresa's was, oh, we gotta win GBs and go to OFSA. And I never did accomplish that. Had some every team was wonderful. But we just didn't quite have the skill level to get where we wanted to get. And here I am. I'm retired. I come back out of retirement in 2023 with 7 girls who were all in grade 12, and we end up winning GBs and making it to the quarterfinals of OFSA.
Wow.
So it was
amazing.
It was really cool and such a great group of girls and nice to be back in the gym again. So yeah, Ben, what a great memory. Good for you. Yeah.
Sounds like a special season.
It was very special, but it also gave me a bit of closure because when I retired from teaching and it was during COVID, like so many things got shut down and I didn't really have my official final season. And you always look forward to that, right? When you retire, I'll be my final year of coaching and I just didn't get that closure. So that was really nice to kind of have that happen for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Wow. Yeah. Can't write it any better than that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Things happen for a reason, right? So,
What are some of the, before we get into like all the theater stuff, like what,
Sure, yeah.
without doing like the top 10 moments of your teaching career, like what were some of the highlights that you took away from being a teacher for all those years?
Oh my goodness. I don't know like specific shows or specific people because there's just way too many to list. They all have a special place in my heart. I think my favorite part of teaching, and even right now, I was just saying this to my husband yesterday. I just say I love collaborating, and especially with young minds, to be quite honest with you, because they come up with the greatest things. And I just loved in the classroom, especially, and also when we were working on the shows where I'd ask the kids to write a lot of things and I'd say, okay, this is the topic, this is the theme, write down as many things as you can. I want you to leave at least 5 ideas under this theme. And then so I'd leave them some time and then come back to all the different groups sitting in circles around the classroom. And I go, okay, Ben and Richard, tell me what you have so far. And they go, this, and this. And I get so excited and I'd say, oh, what if we combine that idea with that idea and your idea? Da, 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 that'll all work together. Really? We can use all of our ideas? And I'm like, yeah, it'll work. And just to see them get excited about seeing their work come to life, that always, I just got so much energy from that. Like, oh man, it made me feel young every day. So again, very selfishly, as a teacher, I fed off what they offered to me, and it just brings you to life. You know what I mean? So, and that happens like even last night in the theater getting ready for Frozen, and we've got people working on parts of the set, people designing what to do on the curtain track. I've got like wonderful lighting crew putting the lights up in the grid, the lighting designer on the ground, a former lighting designer mentoring the new lighting designer, the producer, like all these things happening in the room, and it's kind of coming alive before your eyes. And these are the things that audiences don't see, but for me, they are the things that I experience and make it all worthwhile. The performances are wonderful, don't get me wrong, but it's the process of getting there that I get the most joy and satisfaction from, I'd say. There's headaches too, but it's, as my mom, God rest her soul, as she used to say, nothing worth doing is ever easy. So it's just kind of,
that's so true. That's such a lesson. Like,
truth.
Yeah.
I try to teach my kids that in any way I can. The easy route is never going to be the most satisfying or the most fruitful. It's always the hard route that pays off the most. But one thing you said there, you said it was like selfishly you enjoyed working with the kids, but I think just your passion to do it benefited them. Like having a teacher that wants to be there and like enjoys, getting your ideas out. That's the best thing you can do for a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just something that, I don't know, it just kind of comes naturally to me. Maybe it was growing up with 4 older brothers and having to negotiate a lot of things and collaborate on a lot of things. Like imagine a family of 7 sharing one bathroom, you know what I mean? Just those things you just gotta like, okay, how are we gonna get out of these things that we have cramped space, lots of people, and Yeah, you just work together to make
Did
things
you guys have a
happen.
calendar on the door and everybody had to sign their
Oh
time
my,
when they're getting in the bathroom or
oh
not?
my Lanta. Yes, my mom had like dishwashing schedules. Like we'd be partnered up with a sibling, and I was the youngest out of 5, and there's 4 older brothers. So the brothers always said I was spoiled rotten and I'd get let off easy, and I was my mom's pet, so to speak, like a teacher's pet kind of thing. But I
Right.
disagree. I think I worked just as hard as they did, but they might
Yeah.
argue that particular point.
Well,
But yeah, we
and
did bathroom schedules, dishwashing schedules, everything.
Wow.
Clants, and I think, I'm the youngest as well. I think it's similar to schoolwork, right? When you're writing an essay, you do a couple, you do your rough draft and then you do a couple passes of it.
Yes,
But by the time you get to the 5th one, right, that's like your final copy. That's your perfect, hey, this is what we're handing in for the grade.
yeah.
So
I can see that being a shocker when your first 4 drafts were all boys and then you have to take that and apply it to a girl. That would be a bit of a twist.
Yeah. They
yeah,
kept trying for a girl. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, it was, yeah.
This is
I
my
had great
future.
parents, wonderful siblings,
yeah.
even though I don't always say that, but yeah, very blessed, wonderful family upbringing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
My
oh,
I
go
had a
ahead.
thought.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
were finishing school, so 2 things, like 1, what did you major in and what were you teaching? And 2, how did you end up in school down there and back up here?
Oh,
Was it
wow,
just
that's
the
a great question.
opportunity?
Here, I have. Hopefully, I can make this a short story for you, Richard. So,
Sure.
so yes, at Queen's, I did my undergrad, and I got a double degree, Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, and a Bachelor of Arts with a kind of focus major in drama, and that's what I ended up teaching. I was interviewed up here with the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board. They needed a drama teacher in Midland. So the way it all came about was when I was at Teachers College, it was the month of January. And in 1994, not a lot of boards around Ontario were hiring. Actually, it was a bit of a hiring freeze then. And I had applied to all of the school boards between Kingston and London along the
Wow.
401 corridor,
Right.
13 or 14 different boards. And I hadn't heard from anybody. And so I was kind of not very hopeful. And one of my close, dear friends, actually, her father was the director of the school board that I grew up in the Durham Catholic Separate School Board. And he couldn't even I had so many connections with the Durham board, but nothing was happening. But
Right.
what happened, you guys, is when I was a teenager, I worked as a counselor at a camp up here in Penetang called Marygrove Camp for Girls. And it was run through the church that I belonged to growing up. The priest there was a real advocate for Marygrove because he grew up in this area. And so he had a lot of the females who were parishioners at that church. He encouraged us to apply to work at Marygrove. So I worked at Marygrove for 2 summers. That was my first experience up in this area. But you're always at camp. You get 1 day off and go to Little Lake Park, maybe, or we used to go to where the Midland Cultural Centre is right now. That was the Roxy Theatre, and we'd be dropped off to have dinner at the Boat Works. It used to be called. It's now the Boathouse. And then we'd have a
Wow.
5-hour time off, and we'd go up to the Roxy Theatre and watch a film. And it's so cool that I'm directing musicals there now. But anyway, so Marygrove is also it's a camp that's offered for the same as DePaul pays for the girls' way to go to have a camp experience. So some of the girls struggle financially or have family struggles, and it's kind of known in the community that the kids there, some of them have some pretty tough lives that they're dealing with. So in January at the Faculty of Ed in 1994, I'm just going around to all these different displays of all these boards in the foyer of the the education faculty, and I'm looking at this map. I'm eating my lunch. I'm just looking at this map. It looks like almost like a science fair board that's up there. And I was so embarrassed, you guys. So I'm eating my lunch and I see the map and I see Penetang and I go, oh, Penetang, warm my heart. It's been 8
Oh.
years since I worked there, 10 years. Anyway, so I'm just like, Penetang. And all of a sudden there's this voice behind me saying, oh, are you familiar with our area? I'm like, oh no. I just talked to myself out loud. They're going to think I'm losing it a little bit. And I turned around. I said, oh, hi. Yeah, sorry. I worked at a camp there. And yes, I have really good memories of when I was a teen. And she said, what camp? And I said, Marygrove. She said, oh, Marygrove Camp for Girls. I said, yes. She goes, what is your name? So she was familiar with Marygrove, and I introduced myself, and we were just talking. She asked what my teachables were, where I was from. And then she said, would you like to meet one of our superintendents, Lorianne? I said, sure, yeah. So she introduced me to him. He was right there. And we were just having this conversation. And the superintendent, his name was Bill, he said to me, well, Lorianne, rather than asking me all these questions and me asking you questions, would you like to come to an interview tomorrow? And I said, well, sure, that would be fantastic. And then they said, have you applied to our board yet? And I said, no. So this woman, Rita, God bless Rita Hinton, what a sweetheart. She gives me this application package, and they take out their date book and they say, can you come to a hotel? That's where we're staying for the night at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Can you get there? I said, yeah, I'll find my way there for sure. I'll get there. Anyway, my husband, who was then working at the University of Western, he had his dad's old clunker car and drove me to the hotel. And I had the interview in January, and the vice principal from St. Teresa's called me in May. I had an interview, came up here for the interview, my mom's old clunker car, and got the call on June 1st, 1994 from Rick Presse saying, hi, we're looking for a drama teacher. You're one of the 7 people we interviewed, and we really want you to be on our staff. So I moved up here. That's how it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was meant to be. And then my husband, we got married 2 years later, and then he moved up here because when I started teaching here, he went to do his master's at the University of Windsor. So
he that's a spread. You guys went in different directions.
Yeah, well, we did our undergrad long distance too. He was at Western when I was at Queen's, so many years apart.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, you know?
Doesn't it ever? Right?
You get the rest of life to spend together, right? So you're kind of like, let's get these things done, and then
30 years of marriage this August. Yeah.
So after you get this job, obviously you're not going to like give it up and go somewhere else because you're so happy you got this after competing so hard. What was it like after he finished his school and you're like, you're coming up here with me? Did he already know that was the play?
No, we didn't know what the plan was at all. It was going to be whoever had the job that was going to give us as a couple the greatest future, the best future together. So yeah, so I was the first one to get the job because he was still in school, and he loved it up here. He grew up in a rural place called Deep River, and he also grew up at a cottage in Barry's Bay, which is, we now own the cottage where he grew up. So anything nature and outdoors is my hubby's happy place.
I didn't think anyone was from Deep River.
Oh,
just a place you drove through.
Great dairy bar.
He was there. I've only been to Deep River once with him, but they were only there till he was 14, and they were in Kincardine a bit growing up. Like his dad worked for Hydro. So
the nuclear plants. Yep.
Yes, so that's why eventually they ended up in Oshawa because his dad was at Pickering Hydro. So but we met in high school, started dating in our final year of high school, and so it just kind of worked out this way. There was a time actually when I was about 5 or 6 years into teaching where he was offered to do his PhD through one of the ministries in Burlington, and we were going to move there, but then he got into Teachers College at the same time. He decided to go to Teachers College, and he started working at St. Teresa's 7 years after I did. And he'll be retiring. He'll be retiring soon, and he will have retired 7 years after I did. So we both will have taught at St. Teresa's for the same number of years, just at different points in time. Yeah.
And what's his what was his major? Like what is he teaching?
He teaches science and math. He did his master's. He did his undergrad in biology, aquatic ecology specifically, and that's what he focused his master's on. It was it was a particular organism in freshwater lake systems so not zebra mussels. He has done work with zebra mussels, but the other little organism that he was looking into was an invasive species to our domestic lakes. And he was just, what effect does that have on all of the flora and fauna and everything living under the water? So that's kind of his gig.
I love the compliment of a drama teacher and a science teacher / math. There is like such a personality. Like yin and yang. I love that.
Yeah, totally. Yes. And many years when he was offering the grade 12 biology class at the same time my grade 12 drama class was going, or it used to be OAC. And if they were during the same time slots, I'd go, oh, I can't have so-and-so in my class because they have to have this grade 12 biology as a prerequisite to get in. He's like, science. And I said, oh, I get so frustrated because, they wanted to take, this is great. I had one student, God bless him. I think he graduated 2017. And he really wanted to be in drama in grade 12. And so what he did was he had to get the math course that he needed to go to university. He took it, like, he drove to Barrie to do like a course at a different place so that he could be in drama class during that time slot. And he still got his math at the same time, but he went off site to get his credit. Oh my God. It was, yeah.
Wow, the things you do for your passions.
Oh, isn't it great?
Dedication.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Can I just say how fortunate we are up here to have had all those school boards on the 401 corridor say no to you? I'm thanking my stars right now. Like that is wonderful.
Isn't it like that? Just for me, there's some really karmic things that happen in life, and it's so cliche that things happen for a reason, they say, but I do. Yeah, and how fortunate was I, Ben and Richard, that like the community just embraced me. And I was missing my boyfriend, eventually fiance, was kilometers away. My mom I'm very close to was in Oshawa. Close friends all over the province. When you just get out of university and all your closest peeps are kind of all over the place. But it just I just found so much I don't know. Well, it's such a welcoming community. And as soon as they know that you like something that will build up their kids, like it's golden, right? Yeah, for sure.
You have to acknowledge too that back then, like, distance was so much farther, right? Like, you didn't have social media, didn't have cell phones and those same types of connections. So when you left on your own, like, you were more on your own than you are today.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Had this basement apartment, and the people I rented from, it was so funny. Again, my dear friend whose dad was the director of education in Oshawa, she came up with me to look for a place to live. And at the time, people had basement apartments, but I think there was a bylaw where you couldn't have anyone but a relative in the basement apartment. So they but
totally different than the world today.
The place I ended up getting, they just said, let's just pretend that you're our niece or something. So my friend, who's just a hoot, who was up with me, she's like, let's call them Aunt Ellen and Uncle Laird. So every time she called me, she's like, how are Aunt and Uncle? And I lived in their basement apartment for 2 years, and that's another way to kind of get yourself, more comfortable in the community when you're living with people who've been there for a long time and they could direct you. Right. Like, I remember going up to see Laird and going, Laird, what's my best way to get to the 400? Like, should I really go? He goes, no, Lorianne, take these back roads. So it's almost like having a family member there to guide you. And I think that was a big part in feeling welcome. And a girl that I taught with, she just lived down the road. It was in Port McNichol. Anyway, it was, you just kind of navigate the best way you can. I remember sitting at that desk in that little apartment, like till 2 a.m, trying to plan the next day. Because this is the thing, guys, when you start teaching, you're trying to keep at least a day ahead of those students. And you just have to make sure that you sound intelligent and you know what you're talking about when you're just studying it.
You have a plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Planning for sure. Yeah.
We should almost consider doing that for the show, Richard, because when we come on here unprepared, we could sound smarter than we are.
But after experience, like, oh my goodness, same thing with teaching, right? I didn't have to. I had things in my back pocket, the back of my mind. I knew what I had to cover. I know what works. You just get it. You just experience help you. Mm-hmm. For sure.
You're coming on here to sound smart, Ben. I am not.
Mission failed.
Clearly, we're not.
So diving into, I want to get into like the theater stuff here, because I mean, obviously, I've got a passion for it as well.
Yes.
When did you realize that? Oh, I like performing. Like, when did that click for you?
Oh, great question, Ben. So my oldest brother, you're welcome. I have 4 older brothers, like I said, and my oldest brother is a musician, like by trade. That's been his profession. He sings with lots of different bands. Anyway, he was in a musical at the high school all of us went to. I was 4 years old when he was on stage, and apparently I said to my mom, I want to do that when I get older. And so the first opportunity I could do that was when I was at that high school, and I was 14, and I auditioned for a musical called Lil Abner. I would never direct that show, but I had a lot of fun being in it. And the first character I ever played was a character called Unthinkable Scrag, the Scrag family. And I'm telling you guys, my stage debut, I had one line. And I came on stage
Nice.
and this was my line. It was, "Hi, cuz," and that was it. And then I was just sold from then on. And then I did, there were 2 other musicals that happened in my high school career. And my director at the time, he was a young teacher, and he really encouraged me to go to Queen's, and that's where I went. And he told me about this group called Queen's Musical Theatre that I auditioned for, and I was in that shows with them for 4 years, and did another group called Queen's Players, which was the inspiration from brewery players there, Ben.
Yep.
And when I did QMT, or Queen's Musical Theatre, I was the president in my final year, so I had confidence to kind of be able to lead a company, I guess you could say. And that was really a great foundation for me for where I am right now, I would say. But yeah, I saw my brother perform, and all of my brothers did a show at our high school. But only 2 out of the 5 of us wanted to do it every year we were in high school. Other
Gotcha.
brothers were just dabbling in it,
Hmm.
athletic brothers too. And
Right.
so yeah, so that's how it all started. And my mom, beautiful singer, she sang in choirs forever. And when she was younger, she liked doing theater. So I think that kind of got passed on. And yeah, that's how we just all like to sing. And I like to play characters, so it just fit for me. Yeah.
Because you guys are all singers, like what was the influence in the household? What kind of music did you guys listen to growing up?
Oh, great. Another great question. My mom loved Neil Diamond and Barry Manilow and Dean Martin, so I'd have to listen to that on the turntable quite a bit.
Give Dad a kick in the head.
Yeah, yeah. And then it'd be quite the interesting contrast in that, the old turntable stereo would be upstairs with my mom and dad's records, and then you go down to my brother's, the basement turned into a bedroom for the brothers, and you've got Ted Nugent and Aerosmith and AC/DC. And yeah, so I was exposed to quite an eclectic musical background growing up.
I can imagine you in the middle floor listening to both
Yeah,
and the
one
clash
ear
in
here, one
between.
ear there. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But also my mom loved musicals. So like from I don't even know how old I was, but every Christmas and every Easter, mom would sit down with me all the time, and sometimes other members of the family, and we would watch The Sound of Music, or
Hmm.
Mary Poppins, and there's just something about it. Like even I'm watching Sound of Music now, like something happens. It's just like, I can't explain it. It's just like warm fuzzies kind of, like this is my jam. So yeah, I think I just always felt it. And that music would be played too. And like my mom singing in a church choir, we were all of us sang at church one time or another. So and my oldest brother and I, we both, we've sung at weddings and funerals and stuff like that. So yeah, we just enjoy singing.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say you're probably a fan of Grease Lightning or Grease.
Well, yeah. Well, I directed Grease.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I had lots of fun trying to find a car to fit into the school. And we did. We found a 1924 T-Bird and we pushed it to the front of it was a pretty cool scene. Ben Angelo was in that production. I know you know Angelo well. And
Oh, yes. Yep.
Amber and Angelo were in that production, and Christy. So like a lot of people Ben's worked with it was fun. So Grease Lightning, yes. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it was fun to put together as a production number, that's for sure.
I was going to wait a little later on to ask this question, but
Okay.
I feel like to ask you your favorite musical of all time is a little unfair because there's probably so many up there. So like, do you have a top 3?
Wow, how long do you have for me to think about this? Can I maybe do top 5?
Yeah, all right, I'll give it to you.
Okay, in no order whatsoever. Like no, Wicked, Hamilton.
Fair. Yep.
Les Mis.
So underrated. Well, maybe
Les
not
Mis?
underrated. I watched it for the first time like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh my God, it's just talk singing. It's just talk singing. And then I went to go watch it, and like for the next 2 weeks, like I could not get that musical out of my head. It was just like so
Hamilton, you mean?
good. No, Les Mis.
Les Mis, I know. The music
Yeah.
is so moving. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
I think I have too many to list. Let me think about this for a second. I don't know. There's different. I just love different ones. I love Jesus Christ Superstar. There's just something about that one that just it
Right?
always. As soon as I hear the first chord, like na 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 na, I'm like, oh my god, we're out for a great experience coming up. Rent, love Rent.
Oh
Yeah, I don't know.
classic.
There's too many, you guys. I could list probably 20 to 30 that I
you know,
have.
you got me thinking even of all the musicals I've listened to in my life, and I'm like Hairspray, like Rocky
Yeah,
Horror Picture Show, like oh man, they just keep
yeah,
going.
Right?
they do.
Wow.
Some of them have such cult followings that it's kind of cool
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
see that stuff
Yeah.
happen.
So, as like my wife's a big book reader, and like when someone makes a movie from the book, there's like always some criticism to come with it.
Yeah.
How do you feel when they take like a show that you really like and turn it into a movie? Are you critical of that? How do
No,
you feel about that?
as long as the art form is getting out to an audience, like it doesn't really. I personally, I love movies. I love film. I just don't think you get the same feeling or experience as you do with live theater. Like when you think about everyone in that room is experiencing the same things at the same time. And I don't know, Richard, I'm not sure if you've performed. I know Ben has performed, but Ben, I don't know if you there's like a synergy in the room. Like you can't replace that energy that's happening between the people on the stage and the people watching them and the people behind the scenes. Like it's just such a cool collective. And I don't know. I think I get this when I go see any show and the lights are just about to come up. Like again, I get that warm fuzzy kind of energy in the center of me happening, and it moves me, you know. And I don't think I can't see irreplaceable. So I don't know. Does that answer your
I mean, I think that like that energy continuum, if you will, between like audience and the actors
performer?
and back and forth is like
Yeah.
very real. I think, and I could go off about this, but like the lack of like the 90-minute comedy in film and being able to go see those in theaters. There used to be a little bit of that when like you were in it, like in the experience together as an audience. Like if I watch a comedy at home, like I still like it. It's still good.
Yeah.
I don't laugh out loud.
Mm-hmm.
If I go see that same comedy in the theaters and like that one person starts the laughter, and it almost gives permission for that whole audience to like, you know, whereas like guaranteed you're getting it when you go to the theater.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as I don't know, it's interesting. When I came back to performing after starting directing, I just appreciated things so much more about how a performer can be seen and heard on the stage. Like when I came back to perform after, like I said, being behind the scenes, I was, wow, I wouldn't be here were it not for that person in the tech booth, were it not for that person over there, the person back in the green room, the person who designed this, the person who this, the person who read the script. Like I just felt a greater appreciation. I just feel like when I perform now, I get even more energy because I know it's not just between me and the audience because the audience can see me, but everyone behind me and around me. Like the energy is all engulfing in these walls. Like I just get great satisfaction from that. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think about it like a team sport, and you practice all season, and you're trying this, and you're working on that, and you got strategy, and you're cheering each other on, and then like comes down to the championship, and you're got to perform, and you got to, but then everybody's there to support you, and everybody's got a role to play. I think that's super exciting.
Richard, I love that you say that because I always say teamwork makes the dream work. But not only that, people always say to me, phys ed and drama, whoa, they're so different, like theater and athletics. And I went, no, you rehearse for a show, you practice for a game, you wear a uniform, you wear a costume, you get plays, you get places you have to be standing on the stage and moving, places you have to be on the court, and you perform for either a crowd or an audience. You have an intermission or you have periods, you know, like there's just so many of an act of, it's just, there's so many parallels. So I'm glad that you appreciate that too, Richard, because I
Actually,
think very similar.
Yeah, like it bums me out nowadays that like I feel like athletes don't see themselves as performers as much as they used to. They don't wear their own characters out on the ice or on the court the same way they used to. Everybody's got to be like very much the same, and I kind of, it bothers me. You know, like there's gonna be one day where in the NFL no one's dancing in the end zone, and it's gonna be like I don't like football anymore. Like that's part of it. I don't know.
Where's the performance element of it? Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah. I arguably go through more deodorant in a show than I do doing sports. I come off a sweaty mess. It's taxing.
Lots of Yes.
Right?
Especially when you have a number
Yeah.
choreographed by Steph, right, Ben? And you're like,
Oh my
working your
gosh. It's like she's got a personal vendetta against my physical fitness.
Yes, yeah. So brilliant she is. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're in these groups of queens. You're getting your fill out, I guess, like performing and like kind of the backstage stuff because you're like president of the group, right? So you've got a lot to coordinate.
Yep.
When you go do, I guess, teachers college at that point was only a year. But while you were at Western, did you perform or do anything in that vein there?
Great question. God, look at you guys. You're smart. You're insightful.
You're such a teacher.
Don't even
Great question.
Give yourself credit. Yes. So there was a group there that there was a nice theater. It was an old building, the Alt House it's called. I think it's still in existence there at Western. And there's quite a large theater space in there. So they when they have someone that wants to take it on to do a production, they supply the space with very old equipment. But when I was in 1994, I was in the production of Hair. I played the part of Sheila in Hair during my teacher's college year. Yeah. So I performed. I didn't do any administrative stuff. And one of my classmates was the director. So it was mostly the group of us that were doing drama teachable, at Alt House, but also people from the greater community could audition for the show. So that was a good way to meet people from London. One of my closest friends, who was a Londoner, she now lives out west. Megan, that's how I met her. So again, you meet the connections you make in theater too. It's just like you were saying, Richard, the people you meet on your teams can become lifelong friends. And because you're creating something together, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Right. So then, okay. So we do Western, we get the job here. Do you go right into running like shows and stuff at St. T's?
Yeah. So that's the big reason I think that Rick Preste, my principal, and Jamie McIsaac, the VP, really wanted me on board because I guess during my interview I talked a lot about musicals, and they had done a musical theater program at St. T's, but the teacher that did them was no longer teaching, and they didn't have someone to take it on. Wonderful staff there, but not someone who specialized in musical theater. So my very first show I ever directed was my first year of teaching at St. Teresa's, and I did Godspell. And Ben, you've been in a performance with Ashley, the Brewery Players show with Ashley, and Finding Her Voice. She was in that production. So
really,
yeah.
Oh my
goodness. And then I got the bug, and I loved every minute of it, and directed. Can't remember how many shows I directed at St. T's. Yeah.
So it's literally like you've got students still working with you from your very first production, the first year at St. T's. That is wild.
Yeah.
That is
See what
so
I mean?
cool.
Like I'm so selfish, but it's so wonderful. Yeah. It's just
selfish in the best way.
Right.
Oh yeah.
If there was a good selfish, this is it.
Yeah. And then and then you get to know them. Like I remember even when I was teaching, because I would get to know my students very well. I sometimes they just needed someone to listen to them, and I enjoyed being able to listen to them and help them, and sometimes other not my colleagues necessarily, but I'd hear other people, well, how do you know the kids so well? I go, well, just because they trust me. And sometimes they're like, well, you shouldn't be their friend. And I said, well, sometimes that's all they need, Totally. And then if they could, then they like to come to school. And maybe if there's just one class that they enjoy, and if you create an environment of inclusivity and comfort and welcoming, then the kids want to be there, who otherwise, don't really have a great gig in their life. I don't know. There's a lot of joy in that on both ends. And like you're saying, I have friends, and it's not just Ashley from that first production. There's quite a few former students from that first production and my first grade 9 class I still keep in touch with. And how can you replace those connections you make, and you become friends with them, and for their whole lives you get to watch them grow up and get married and have kids, and you spend for those kids that especially in the drama department, if they start with you in grade 9 and go through, it used to be like 5 years with OAC, but you spend every day with them for a full school year, because if you're not teaching them in first semester, then you're also working with them with the show or whatever. You get to know them. They're like your family. So it's quite a blessing. Yeah.
And like if I can compliment you for 1 second here, Clants, because and then I want to get into the GBMTC stuff
okay.
But doing the prom. So we did a show, lots of high school kids 2
Yes.
years 2 years ago now. My God.
I know. Yeah.
One thing that I think GBMTC does really well, and I think it comes from like basically this environment you've like fostered and created is, you know, it doesn't matter if you're 14, 15, or like 30, like the ideas you bring to the table matter. Your opinions matter. Like
Yeah.
it I just imagine like being a 14, 15-year-old kid coming and you have an idea and you want to share it, you're excited about it, and it's actually heard. Like I think that can be a game changer for
Mm,
for somebody who's in those like formative years, who's deciding where they want to go with their life, what kind of decisions they want to make, what they want to do, the kind of person they want to be. To
right.
be able to like have those experiences, I think is so valuable, and I think it makes for really good kids to become really good adults.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
just
hope
I
for
don't.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and like I didn't go to high school all that long ago, although it's getting further and further in the rear view now. But
Okay.
like
Yeah.
I remember going into this specific show being like, oh man, high school kids weren't all that nice when I was in high school. Like you had your
Hmm.
your friends, whatever. But I
Yeah.
was blown away by like how inclusive and kind and
Hmm.
thoughtful kids this age are. And I don't know if it's a generational thing and I'm ranting here,
Yeah.
but um I gotta think that theater and being heard has something to do with it.
Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, being heard is so important. And I think like the reason why I wanted to teach was because I had a couple of teachers that did that for me, right?
Right.
Made me feel like I was special, made me feel like I had a talent that maybe I should try to foster. Um, they built me up, and my family did that for me too. But I've just found there's just something like I knew when I was 14 I want to teach because of my grade 9 phys ed teacher who eventually became my senior girls basketball coach, and she's still a friend today. She came to my retirement party. When I coached
Oh
all
my
those years,
goodness.
I brought my girls team down to her tournament. When she no longer was a high school teacher, she coached the Durham College basketball team, and I brought the girls down to there. You know what I mean? It's connections,
Right.
and that's what it's all about. But sorry, getting back to what you're saying, Ben, about being heard, I think a lot of that too is like this community and the arts community here is pretty irreplaceable. Like I've said this ever since I started teaching and working with the talent here. I would say to the parents, what are you feeding these children? And what is there something in the water in this area that there's so much talent, and
Right.
Mm.
it's when you have talented people who are kind to one another, it's the
Sky's the
formula.
limit.
It's yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's funny because
And
you're talking that as a teacher, like being important for the kids. But then I'm like, even as adults, like if you have someone in your corner that's bringing you up or listening to you or giving you a place to
yeah,
speak and be yourself, that's always valuable. Like we need to do that for each other. I think everybody needs a friend or a mentor or someone that's just going to
totally.
spark that fire under them and support the passion they have.
Yeah, light the fire under the butt for sure. And sometimes you have to be
Oh,
firm and fair. It's not always, it wasn't every day of kids come to me and going, "Oh, Clants," and I would be, "Oh," it'd be, "Well, you know what? You got to help yourself here. You have to help them the best way you can." Sometimes tough love works too. So,
No,
right.
I think underrated. Like,
yeah, totally.
All right. So you're at St. T's for a while before GBMTC becomes a
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
So
So That's a I had been teaching I think I've been teaching, like, 19 years when
okay.
I started GBMTC. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And GBMTC, what inspired you to create this community, this company outside of the school system?
Outside the school? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when the Midland Cultural Centre opened, I think it was the summer of 2012, it was a really cool ceremony that was happening that the board had set up. The MCC board, they had reached out to all the local schools and asked teachers to choose students who would represent the arts at their school, and they'd be getting a special key given to them on a special ceremony day. So I
Okay.
sent a couple of my students, and I wanted to see them get these keys. It was just outside the building, and some people got special invitations to get a tour of the building. I wasn't one of those people, but what had happened was a former student of mine, her mom was there, and she and her was there with her grandchild. They had an extra pass, and she said, "Clance, do you want to come in on the tour with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go. This is awesome." So touring through this beautiful building, and then I get into the HP theater, and I'm looking around, and it's a small space. There's only 121 seats, but it's pretty state of the art. And I was just very excited for harmonia players at the time because they had been working like all over the place, kind of like we are now. They'd be working out of the King's Wharf Theater before Drayton took it over. They had like a studio on William Street, the Annex, and they were just really trudging through and doing really great things. And I was just so happy for them. And then happened to they said, if anyone wants to see the tech booth, there's some members of harmonia players up there. So I go in, and one of my former students who was in Godspell in 1994,
Oh my goodness.
Christine Killing, who's married to Jonathan Killing, though they were in the space. And I said, "Oh my goodness, Christine, look at this. Like, look what you guys have. Congratulations. This is wonderful." And I said, "When are you going to start doing musicals in this space?" And she looked at me and said, "When will you start directing musicals in this space?" I'm like, "Ah, ha, 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 you're funny, Christine. You're funny." Anyway, it got me thinking. So I remember I came home and I told Rob, I'm like, "Wow, wouldn't it be cool? You know?" And he said, "Well, you're already pretty busy at school with coaching and directing and other things." And I said, "Yeah," but anyway, so it was just kind of floating there. And then Doris Sloan, Ben, I think you know Doris.
Yeah.
She was on the HP board at the time, and they reached out to me. They said, "Oh, Clants, can you give us? Do you have any nominations for the Harmonia Players Graduate Award? We like to get nominations from all the high schools." I said, "Yeah, I'll send you a letter. I have someone in mind." And I said, "Congratulations, Doris, on this amazing space you guys finally have. You worked so hard." She said, "Thanks." And I said, "Yeah, I was saying to Christine, you guys should do musicals." And she said, "I should direct one." That's pretty funny, eh? And she's like, "Well, why don't you do a proposal?" And I went, "What? What do you mean?" So anyway, I went home and I wrote a proposal, and I've always wanted to direct Rent because I just loved it so much at that time.
Right.
And I can't do that at a Catholic high school. I couldn't at the time anyway, with the content in it. So I made a proposal, and I got in touch with Doris again, and I went and met with the HP board, and I said, "I would love to direct Rent if you guys would allow me to come in and do that." And they said, "Great, but we already have our season and we don't have anything in the summer. Could you do it in the summer of 2013?" And I said, "For sure. I'll try and recruit a group of people together, and hopefully I can find enough people to audition." So they wanted to support my endeavor, but they didn't necessarily want to have it as just an HP production.
Right.
So they were wonderful in that they paid for the royalties and rights of the production to do Rent, and they just kind of trusted that it would work. And we didn't get any of the profits from the show, which is fine. It was more it was an experiment for all of us. Could we try and do a summer show? So at that time, we actually called the company Triple Threat Summer Company was what we called it. And so Rent was actually an HP Triple Threat Summer Company collaborative work. And we sold out pretty quickly, and the cast was amazing. But you know what? I had to recruit the cast online. So this is what happened. My first year with this company. So imagine this is 2012. I'm on Facebook, and this is what I'm doing. Like my husband already went to bed late at night. You know when you used to go on Facebook and you could see when people were online? Like it's total like tech has changed so much.
Yep.
So for example, I see that Angela was online or Holly was online. I go, "Angelo, how are you? Long time no see. Hey, I'm doing a production this summer. Would you like to audition for it?" And that's kind of how I recruited. Like for Rent, we had maybe 19 people audition. And most of them were me recruiting in the middle of the night, come on out to audition. But now it was really cool. We had the most recent production, we had over 70 people sign up to audition. We had almost like 55, I think, that came out. So it's cool how that builds. But yeah, so I digress. That's how we started with Rent. And then I knew I only wanted to do performances every other year that I wasn't directing at the school, because I liked being married. I didn't want to be divorced. So
Fair.
yeah. So 2015, Doris called me again and said, "Clance, are you interested? Are we going to do this again?" I go, "Absolutely." She said, "Do you know what you want to do?" I said, "I really would like to do Legally Blonde." At that time, the group had got together as Triple Threat Summer Company. Great, wonderful minds there that really suggested I should do Legally Blonde. So anyway, I did a proposal. And then
was your response, "Oh my God, you guys"?
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, it wasn't. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys. No, it wasn't that. No bend
Sorry,
and snap or anything like
gotta quote those
you,
musicals as much as we
oh,
can in this
you
episode.
betcha.
Yeah.
You can make up a whole musical with musical titles, that's for sure.
Right?
Um, but then, so we were all set and it was going to happen. But what had happened was at that point in time, HP was renegotiating their lease with the Midland Cultural Centre, and their lease changed from a 12-month to a 10-month lease. So they said to me, they called me, said, "So sorry. I know you really want to do Legally Blonde as a partnership again, but what's happened is we can't afford the 12-month lease. So you would have to do it on your own." And I said, "Okay, no problem." So I went to the executive director at the time and I said, "Hi,
Mhm.
Eugene. So remember I did Rent a couple of years ago? I still have the core crew and we'd love to do it, but we're unable to partner up with HP. And I just want to do it." And he said, "Okay, well, are you incorporated?" And I go, "No, no. What do you mean incorporated? I just let me just do whatever I need to." He goes, "Well, first of all, Clancy, you need some money." And I go, "Yeah, yeah, I know. I need to raise a whole bunch of money to get the royalties and rights. I'll somehow figure that out." And he said, "But I'm not going to just put it under just your name because if something happens, you're liable and I could take your house away." And I'm like, "Ugh, okay." So I just started doing research on, okay, how do you create a board and make it all legit? And that's when I recorded the wonderful board that I like, of which I still have the same originals. And then we had about 4 or 5 months to raise 20 grand. So to get the show mounted. So we
How
decided,
did you do that?
yeah. So again, just when you get involved in the community and people know you. So as a board, we wrote up I guess it was a business plan per se of how we were going to do this. So for our fundraising, we've done what's called a single, double, triple threat system. So do you know triple threat? Get it? Theater,
Yeah.
singer,
Yeah.
actor,
Oh, yeah.
dancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also basketball, just the triple threat position. So I'm, getting some basketball in there. Anyway, so a single threat sponsor donates $500, double threat 1,000, and 1,500 for triple threat. And so we just wrote letters, said this is our package. If you'd like to be a sponsor, these are the benefits. You'll be invited as a sponsor to all of our shows in the future. We'll have your name on our posters, on our programs. You're a founding sponsor. And sure enough, like within 6 months, we had about $18,000 raised, so I could get the royalties to Legal Bond and also put a deposit down on the space. And we just trudged and went right through as a board, and then it just happened. And then we keep doing shows every other year, other than COVID where we had to bump it. But
Yeah.
that's it. It's like, honest to God, it's sure it was my idea initially, but the members of the board hopped on board, and it's a collaborative effort. What
Hmm.
happens with
Explain
company
to
for
me,
sure.
just because I am not into this world, like I have less experience than both of you. What is it like when you're going to get the rights to a performance like that? Like,
Oh
who are
yeah.
you contacting?
So there's a few different companies, Richard, that distribute or look after distributing musicals, so that they are protecting the playwrights and the composers. They have to make sure that they get their money. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, totally.
So the particular group that I work with the most, they have, I guess, possession of or control of the most musicals out there. It's a group in New York called Music Theatre International, or MTI. So you have to go to their website. It used to be like you used to send a paper contract in the mail and have to wait for weeks to know if you're granted the rights to it. But so what you do is you fill out an application, and it's essentially a license that you're applying for.
Hmm.
And so on that application, you have to tell them like the name of your company, what facility are you performing in, how many seats are there, what are you going to charge per tickets, do you usually sell out? There's all these different questions. And then they look at your application and they assess what they should charge you per performance. So it used to be like maybe 180 to $200 per performance you were paying for, but like I can tell you with Frozen, it's over $400 per performance just to have the royalties and rights. And then you have to pay, like, that's so if you're doing 10 performances, you can figure that out, and it's US dollars. And then
Wow.
also it's you pay for the rental of the scripts and the scores. So depending on the show you do, like something like Disney, as a company, you're forking out 10 grand easily just to have the rights, royalties, and scripts. So that's why we need to make money and charge for tickets. And then we also get charged a rental fee from the MCC. The MCC is they're really great to us too. So I think because we keep going back to them, there's a great symbiotic relationship happening there, I would say. So yeah, those are the things to consider and why you need to raise money to launch a show. And what we did, especially because we sold out with Rent, we've sold out with all of our shows. And that's really great because that we just maintain a bit of a nest egg of money in our in our bank account, and it just helps us do our next production. Like we're certainly not out there to make money. We're there to sustain ourselves. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Totally.
There's this really interesting there's this really interesting I guess dynamic too, Richard, that like there's shows that are exclusively reserved for like professionals as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rights become publicly available, and then you'll see like a bunch of theaters do them. So like one that comes to mind in particular right now that's relevant is Come From Away. So Come From Away just got released to
amateur
community
productions.
Yeah.
So whereas something like Wicked and Hamilton it'll take forever before they release it for amateur production because they're still making so much money on the professional runs all over the world that
it's like a demand thing. Like just depends on how much demand there is in the professional space to how long it'll get public.
For sure. Like think about Wicked. So Wicked opened in 2003, I think, and it's still not available for amateur production.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty wicked.
And even there you go again. But even with Frozen, so again, I'm on many of us on our board, we are on the MTI email list. And I think it was last June that they send you, this is coming available soon to amateur theater groups. And it said on August 1st, amateur groups, this is not the exact wording, but can apply for the rights and royalties for Frozen, the Broadway musical. So I reached out to my board right away and said, guys, what do you think? They're like, yeah. So then I was at my cottage and I brought my computer because I knew on August 1st, I thought, okay, I'm going to do it on August 1st. And I had to go across the road to my mother-in-law's who lives across the road from our cottage where she has Wi-Fi. And because I had no service to be able to apply. Anyway, I applied August 1st and found out within a day that we were granted the royalties to it. And I think we're the first group in Simcoe County to have the rights to the entire full-length production. There's been some groups in Barrie that have done the junior production, which is an abridged, shorter version. But you look around now, Frozen's being done all over Ontario. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, for good reason. Like, look how popular it was. Like, it makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. Young girls everywhere are just smiling from ear to ear, seeing Elsa and Anna on stage. It's pretty cool.
And all the boys are excited to see Olaf.
Yeah, Olaf, totally. And Kristoff and Han.
Even my 2-year-old won't stop talking about Frozen and Let It Go. Let It Go, Dada.
Yeah.
She just wants to tell you what to do these days, dude.
Well, I think she's telling me to chill out. She's like, Dada, let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you got it.
Well, hopefully you have your tickets, Ben.
I don't. So
we're selling quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, we're over half sold out in just like 4 days. So.
Oh damn.
I don't think my kids have seen Frozen, so that'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard, they would love it. Probably. Especially like the theater here, like it's so intimate, you're so close.
Yeah.
Like it's not like going to Mervis where you're like, you're in the nosebleeds and
way back. Yeah. Like being in a stadium. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I've never seen a show at the MCC, so.
Oh.
Well, maybe you're first, Richard. Come on.
I know I should be.
Go to the MCC website. You'll be able to get those tickets.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Which, if anyone's listening, we will link to that link.
Perfect.
They might be gone by the time this episode comes out. But if you're going to try, link is in the description of this episode.
Okay. Thanks for doing that, Ben.
Yeah. Oh, of course. No problem. So we've got Frozen coming up. Anything that like, maybe for people like Richard here who have never gone to see a GBMTC show, a show at the MCC period, what do they need to know?
Well, first of all, the Midland Cultural Centre is a beautiful building. So if you've never been in it, this is a great opportunity for you to explore it. There's beautiful art galleries, really cool reception hall, Rotary Hall, which it just offers a lot. There's a part of me that really wishes the Huronia Players Theatre was larger. Like, it's a beautiful, intimate space. Mm-hmm. I would love it if it was a 400 or 500 seat theater, but beggars can't be choosers. Like, I just think that would really offer a lot to our community. But again, no, it's a wonderful facility. And this one particular Huronia, like all of the Huronia Players gang have really kept it up quite a bit. And Jonathan Killing, I just want to mention, Jonathan is kind of the guru who really keeps all things together technically and everything. And he I so appreciate all the equipment that's in there and the things that we can do in that small space that you can't do in every facility. Like there's things I could do in that facility I couldn't do at St. Teresa's. Mind you, St. Teresa's has wonderful tech too. Like very fortunate at St. Teresa's. Andrew Irvin's just keeping it up like great top notch. Right. And I think at GBD too, you've got Bethany Main. You've got so many of these wonderful teachers keeping things up so that it's industry standard. But there are some things you can do in this space in the Harmony Players Theatre at the MCC that are pretty sweet. And we're trying to explore those things with this production. I'm a little bit nervous because technically it's a huge show. Gotta have lots of magic happening.
Literally, like magic.
Yes, there's a lot of moving parts, technically. The set design by Holly Archer, incredible, and the people building for us. I can't even, honestly, every single person you're going to see in that program is just elevating it. We're at the point now, though, where it's coming along. I haven't seen the finished product. We haven't done a full run through. All of the costumes I'm going to see, like I've seen them all separately, but not on the characters till next week. We're not doing our tech runs till after that. We're just rigging all the lights right now and finishing this set. So I just think that when it's done, it's going to be really cool. Like I'm hoping that people will come in and go, whoa, that's kind of my whole, I want the wow factor for the people.
Nice.
And everyone.
Did you save any of the snow from this year, say using the production?
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up.
Yeah, I made reference to that in my director's note. You'll see. It's kind of funny. We're doing Frozen in July, but it's kind of cool at the same time.
No, we did Frozen for like 6 months this year.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay. So Ben, I think your question was, what can they expect? They can expect, if our goal is reached, they can expect to lose themselves in a different world, an altered reality, and an escape of wonderful, entertaining. Let me start this again. They can expect to be entertained by an amazing group of people, both on stage and behind the scenes. I think you're going to really feel the collaborative effort of this group on stage, and I think that collective sense of purpose and love for the arts and for each other and talent is just going to percolate in that room when they get in there. And my hope for that, for everyone in the audience, is that when the lights come up, they're going to get that warm, fuzzy feeling like I do for every show. That's kind of what I would hope for everybody.
That's a good way to lay it out. Got me wanting to go already.
Magical experience. Yeah. Just want people
one
to
last thing
experience
I want to. One last thing we always like to leave with, Lori, at the end of the episode here is we've talked a lot about your past, and we just want to look a little bit forward. What does the next 5 years look like for yourself and for your theater group there?
Yeah. Well, we've established an annual kind of concert that we've done. We've called it Future Stars in February. It was kind of the brainchild of Steph Chandran, and she brought it to our board, and we just came on board again with it. Such a great idea. And so every February we've done that show, and that showcases youth and children in our community. And we're going to keep doing that on an annual basis. Whether or not we can maintain doing it in February, it might be just called Future Stars Concert. It depends on schedules of everyone on our board, because everyone on our board has a role to get this concert up off the ground. So that will be for sure, hopefully, every year in the next 5 years. We've experimented with things in the last few years. We've done like the show that Ben was in, Brewery Players, was just a fun thing to experiment with. We'll continue to do Broadway musicals every other year like we do. So this is, as far as I know, our goal is to continue doing that every other year. So you can expect another one in 2028, another one in 2030, 2032, 2034, unless another crazy, epidemic happens. I mean, I don't think that'll happen for another 100 years.
I'm knocking on wood, don't worry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that would be our plan right now, but other things might pop up. We've done also a show called Curtain Call, where we've invited post-secondary students from our area, Simcoe County North, who have gone on to do performing arts in their post-secondary education. And we invite them and kind of create like a really cool I guess, mixture of talent. If we have musicians that perform, dancers, whoever's a triple threat, we invite back to either sing, dance, do all three, act. We might continue doing that every other year. It's really amazing how people will just call us up and go, "Hey, would this be a good idea? Do you think you guys would like to organize this and put this on?" Yeah, maybe we could. I think we have the talent. It's whether or not we have the time, because everyone involved on our board are just so busy with either their businesses, their families, their full-time jobs, and it's really amazing that the volunteer um, hours that everyone puts in to make these happen. But we're all doing it for the same reason, because we believe in it. We believe that there's talent that needs to be explored, talent that needs to be shared, and we believe in the power of collaboration. Yeah, it's just all of us
Awesome.
believe in it. Yeah. Again, I'm so lucky. I just everyone who, yeah, I can't tell you how blessed I am, but thank you.
Now,
Fortunate.
Richard, I'm gonna throw a curveball here. And Clint, I don't know how much you can
I
talk
like
about it
baseball.
if you want to talk. Oh, okay, good. That's the only baseball term I know, so that's good.
Oh.
We're off to a good start.
Okay.
So Clants has actually written a musical. And I know we usually end our show with like, let's look at the future, but I just if you're open to talking about it,
Sure.
I was fortunate enough to be part of it.
Yes, you were a wonderful part of it.
Oh, thank you. But it was such an incredible experience. I don't think there was a dry eye left in the audience. I was wondering if you'd be so kind to share a little bit about that with our listeners and that whole experience for you so far.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'll try my best. So just to kind of relate it to GBMTC, GBMTC, my board, they were so wonderful in supporting it to launch it for this workshop production we did in October that you were part of, Ben. I guess if I pursue this further, it'll be out of the realm of GBMTC. It'll be just me personally trying to get it out there to different production companies. But GBMC will always have the billing rights that it was first produced by Georgian Bay Musical Theater Company. Okay, well, Richard, I told you lots about my mom and how she was a major influence on my musical theater passion, and she passed away in 2022. And her last 5 years, she battled dementia. So I became her caregiver, and she moved up here to Midland so I could be closer to her. We could be closer together, and it was a tough go, but also a beautiful time. And she started writing her autobiography, unpublished autobiography, when she was in her early 70s. She died when she was 85. And she told me and my brothers all about it. And we're like, Mom, like, that's kind of cool. Why are you doing this? She goes, Well, I just think I want my story to be told, especially to my children. And there's probably things I haven't told you that I'll probably have in this writing. Anyway, when dementia kicked in, she didn't quite finish it. But I was able to, I had access to all of her possessions. And in those possessions, I found her handwritten autobiography, but also she started transferring it over to a computer. And I had to take over a computer, especially when she had dementia. I was giving her password away and stuff. Right. So anyway, I had access to all of these beautiful words that my mom wrote about her life. And so it took me a while to kind of mourn her death. But I knew even when she was alive that I wanted to write a musical about mothers and daughters. And then it just evolved into using her autobiography as a springboard for ideas. And then it just became, I just wanted it to be about her life. So the musical is called Finding Her Voice, and it's based on my mom's life. And it covers 3 themes that I think someone out there could relate to at least one of the themes. So my mom had a pretty tough go, and what a beautiful soul that she always was for everything she came through. But the things that she had to come through, she was abused as a child by her stepmother. Um, After 32 years of marriage, my dad was unfaithful, so she had to deal with infidelity, and then she had to deal with dementia. So she had 3 really big things in her life that I think, came out of with grace. And the reason why I called it Finding Her Voice is I just feel like she didn't have a voice when she was a young child. And finally, she just stood up to her stepmother and she literally said, You will never do that again. And she had an uncle who really pumped her up and said, we're going to make sure you stand up for yourself. So she found her voice when she was like 15, 16. Then she met my dad, and she always wanted this beautiful family, and she had 5 children. She was very happy. But then when my dad left and had cheated on her, she was crushed again. And it took her a while to find her voice through her grandchildren, her children, and her friends, and whatever she's involved in. She got up on both feet again. And then when she had dementia, she like literally lost her voice. She couldn't speak in the last year and a half. And I feel like I became her voice for her. And so that's how that kind of flowed. So it's a full length musical that I wrote the script and lyrics based on, again, my mom's life. It was quite an experience. The writing experience was over a couple of years. Most of the writing happened at our cottage in Barry's Bay on my own in the winter months, waking up at 3:30 in the morning with an idea and looking at her stuff and trying to put it into script work. And then I recruited some lovely people to compose the music to these songs. And yeah, so it's like a 22 song, full 2-hour length musical. And I recruited people to do a workshop production of it. And another thing about closure, if I could come back to St. Teresa's for a second, when I retired, or when COVID happened, we were 5 months into doing a show. And then I retired during COVID. So never really got to do my final show on that stage. So I don't know if you know this, Ben, when we did Finding Her Voice, that was real closure for me to be on the St. Teresa's stage.
No, I didn't.
And direct it there. Yeah, that was really cool. Anyway, so I recruited people I've worked with in the past and other people I've met who just had a certain talent and skill that I needed. And we put this all together and we performed it for an audience of between 250 and 300 people in October. And I haven't done much with it since then because I've been busy with Frozen, but I did enter it into what's called the National Center for New Musicals that runs out of Hamilton. And I submitted it into that pool. And there were over 105 or 10 people who submitted. And I actually just found out 2 weeks ago that the script was not accepted for submission this year. But that's fine. I can keep working on it. I will, Ben, I promise, I will do something with it. I'm just kind of leaving it on the back burner right now. It had great response, but I think it needs a lot of work to get to where, if I want it to go to a professional theater, oh my God, could you imagine? Oh my Lanta. But anyway, if it ever went there, there's a lot more workshopping that needs to be done for it. So, but we've set a foundation and people seem to like it and people could relate to it. And I think, Richard, you heard Ben say not a dry eye in the building. It's just the last 2 scenes are kind of the final stage of my mom's life and just the experience I had personally with her, the character that represents me and that represents my mom. And yeah, and it's just, all of us lose our loved ones. And it was just right up there on the stage to see that happen. I think that made it difficult for some people.
Wow.
But,
I will just
I
say
don't know.
like something you should be super proud of. And those scenes probably don't even do justice to how much work it is to take care of like your parent that's going through that. I've had a lot of clients, and even just seeing it with my own family, taking care of like your parents or taking care of your partner that's going through dementia. It's extremely difficult. I can't imagine the emotions that you felt, and probably even watching those scenes play out, probably talk about no dry eyes. I'm sure yours were not as well. I can't imagine.
You know what? Writing it was very cathartic. That's for sure. It was a good way to grieve and to heal, I would say. Yeah, it was quite a different experience. I had written some other plays, like for the kids at St. Teresa's. I'd written 2 other musicals, so that gave me the confidence. And it was doing it for, again, really cool experience with the kids. But I thought, okay, so I can write some lines, and I could write. It was just an experiment, and the experiment came out like so much more than I ever imagined it would. So maybe it could go further. Maybe that's in my future, Ben. I don't know. We'll have to see. Things happen, never know. Someone might have seen it that I gave it to a submission. Someone else might want to see it. But I went to a conference and I've made some connections with other groups like Musical Stage Co. They run a really cool submission portal for, I think it's called New Canadian Musical Theatre. So there's different things I can do there over the next few years. It's whether or not I want to sit down and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
get my ass in gear.
Either way, like loving every step of the journey, right? That's all it is.
Totally. Yeah. Journeys
Very
are lovely.
Nice. Yeah. Clants Clancerton, you have been so generous with your time today.
Oh, thank you, Ben.
thank you so much for
it's been lovely getting to know you, honestly. I've seen you like some of our stuff on Instagram and whatnot, and I don't know, I get curious about everybody. That's why this podcast is so great. And it starts to all unfold on the podcast. Like, we could talk here for probably a whole nother hour.
Easy.
But I don't want to, if I can mention about your podcast, what I'm loving about it is you are, you are the best advertisers for everyone in our community that are trying to do things and make a difference. And I just love that you're supporting that and you're marketing it and you're just kind of letting people do their thing and you're supporting us. And I think that's, you need to give yourselves credit for that too, right? You're doing great things. So thank you for that.
I want more good people to be here and I want good people to stay. I don't want them to go anywhere. So let's do everything we can to just bring each other up. That's the way I look at it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Mutual Admiration Society is what we have right now.
Yes. Yes, we need more of it, don't we?
We do.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
well,
guys.
Thanks so much, Clants.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Richard, what do you think of Clants? Isn't she great?
You know,
I know she can still hear you, but that's okay.
Yeah. No, I think I look back, 1994 when she's coming up here and like someone maybe saw something but didn't realize how important bringing her up here was going to be. And I think there's a lot of people like that even nowadays, like new people that come to town, and like we need to do our best to embrace them and hold on to them because they're going to bring so much here. So
as somebody
just an example of that.
As somebody who's dove headfirst. I'm gonna go with Dovin. I know it's wrong, but strong and wrong.
Sounds like a name.
As someone who's dove into the theater community in this area, who like I'm pretty open about it. I moved here 4.5 years ago. It's hard to imagine this community without Clants. Like it seems like you can't have.
You're making me cry, but stop. Okay.
Oh, perfect. That's actually my goal on this podcast. So, the two are like you can't have one without the other, in my opinion. So it's
nice of you to say that, Ben. But don't forget, like everyone that's on the board, it's. I'm sure I'm like the president, but it's a group. It's a collaborative effort. Thank you. I appreciate it, but it's thank you.
But I mean, I feel like you're the glue that has brought all these people together, and they stick together pretty willingly now.
Yeah.
But
I think all of us are not from around here, right? Like we've all moved here in our life, and
imports, for sure.
Yeah, we're imports, and we absolutely fall in love with the place. And I think I've had cousins that grew up in this area that don't think too much of it. They think it's just anywhere else, and I'm like, you don't know what you have here. Like this is so special.
Yes, we say that to our students too, Richard. Like it's kind of like they're like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. And then we always say, oh, you'll be back in 10 or 15
You'll be
years.
back. Well, I hear that story 100
You're
times.
gonna raise your family here. You just wait. Yeah, and sure enough, that happens. Yeah, 100%.
One last thing I want to plug before we close out the episode is the fundraiser that I'm doing for Campfire Circle. Yep. Running 56 kilometers through the woods.
You go, mister.
Oh my God. Yeah, no,
Can we get a live stream of this? If we got $1,000, can we get a live stream of you running the whole thing?
So the scary part of that is we're about $125 away, folks.
Dude, you're doing great. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that seems
how much?
So we're about $125 shy of $1,000, which was the goal. Right. So I'll also throw. I'll throw the link as well in the description. This video and
sure.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Ask me if I run this week.
I remember every time I talk to Ben and he's running, he's like, "Oh, I don't know why I signed up, Clants, but I'm doing a marathon." I go, "Well, a marathon's not the one you want to run if you don't want to run, Ben. Come on."
Yeah, the food's better.
And now you can do more than marathon distance. You're a glutton for punishment.
The food's even better. On that note, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by our open house.
I hope this episode got you excited to go to the MCC and see a show, because it did for me. And we'll see you the next time the house is open.
Come see GBMTC's. Thanks, guys.